Hello, and welcome to the first episode of our Last Day of Class podcast, where we four undergrad students who became the best of friends on the last day of our sociology class just talk, because why not?
I want to talk about the study of suicide. At the beginning of the semester, we went over the sociological imagination. In this chapter, one of the topics that we read was over the study of suicide. When I thought about why people would commit suicide, my initial thought would be that they're either depressed or unhappy. I didn't think of any other factors. Durkheim argued that there are four types of suicide: egoistic, altruistic, anomic, and fatalistic suicide. These having various causes of self-harm, such as people not being able to find their spot in society, people committing heroism, unexpected changes in life, and high situations such as keeping your family's legacy alive.
You?
Oh, was that it?
Mm.
I mean, okay, see, like, the thing about when I was reading about the different types of suicide, because the whole idea is that there are two reasons for someone to kill themselves, and one is depending on the integration of them, like in whatever society that they're in, and the regulation that that society has. So if they have low regulation, they kill themselves. If they have high regulation, they kill themselves.
I take issue with that because I think there could be a million different reasons why you kill yourself.
Yeah, and that's like, that was the thing that got me when I was reading it. I was just like, there's so many reasons why. And then it's like the base to those reasons. Like, if someone's getting bullied, they're being excluded from the group. So they're like,
Well,
I'm going to kill myself because I'm alone. Or like with regulation, it's like, I can't be who I want to be, so I'm going to kill myself because I can't live the life that I want to live.
Well, in my personal experience, trigger warning, mine was just because I felt like a burden. And that didn't mean, because I fit into society, I fit into my family, I fit into the regulations, whatever. Like, it was everything that they asked me to be. I just still felt like I wasn't worth the time, the burden. I mean, I had a bio dad leave me, an adoptive dad leave me, and I have a stepdad who doesn't like me. So it's like, it's got to be me. It's got to be me. That's the only common factor in why these relationships keep failing. So mine wasn't like fitting in somewhere. It was like, I do fit in, and that's the problem. Like, I fit in, but I'm a burden.
And that's the other thing too, is like the integration in society, because it's like you can have a lot, like none of it, and then you can have too much of it. And then that's the idea with like mass suicides, like with cults. It's like they're so integrated with their society. It's like, oh, let's all go. Let's go as a unit. Let's do it. So like reading about it, I'm just like, when you're in a group setting, and like if you're like in that group, like freaking roots deep into that group, you're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. And they'll be like, hey, yo, what if we all just like killed ourselves? And be like,
No,
like, I don't have anything without this group, so I'll be like, I can't be without them, so I'm just gonna kill myself.
I agree, because my best friend and I, we have a favorite song, and the chorus to the song is, if you go before I do, you better tell the grave digger that he better dig too. Because, like, if she dies, I told her, I was like, she's going to go up to heaven, she's going to turn around, she's going to be like, you've been gone for 2 minutes. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm here.
That's how I am, like, with my mom. Me and my mom, like, we have our issues, but I would literally kill for her. I go to jail. And I'm just like, maybe she wouldn't do the same for me. And, I mean, if she doesn't, that's something we should talk about. But,
yeah.
like, I'm like, but the relationship that I have with my mom compared to, like, my dad and my stepdad is, like, my mom is all I have. So I'm like, if I lose her, like, when I lose her, because eventually it's going to happen.
Don't talk about it. No, they're going to live forever.
It's like, maybe we'll find a cure for aging. It's not going to happen. But, like, I've had to have that conversation. Like, with my mom, she's so freaking loose about it, it breaks me. Because she's like, oh, yeah, no, I'm going to get cremated. And I'm just like, Mom, please stop. And she's like, and I'm going to have, like, I'm going to give each of you little necklaces, and you're going to hold me around with you. And I was like, Mom, please stop. And she's like, no, it's fine.
Kind of similar with my mom, except for she's more logistic, because I told you that whole blue and gold thing.
Yeah.
So she's more of a gold, where she's just like, okay, when I die, I have life insurance for both of you girls. This is how it's going to go. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to be wherever. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. She's like, you know what's going to happen, Army? Yeah, but it's not going to happen now.
Yeah.
When my mom got diagnosed with cancer, I think that was probably the hardest thing I've ever gone through, because it was like, I've always thought about my mom passing away, but that is like concrete evidence that she might to that. And it made me really upset, because it made me come to reality, like, she's not going to be here forever. And I mean, I'm 19, she's almost 40, she's 40 something, so it's like, we're getting there, you know? She's midlife, like, we're already halfway there, and it's kind of sad to think about. So when they got diagnosed, I just didn't even want to think about it. Because thinking about it made me realize that she's not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
And it made me sad because I feel like all those years that I was hating her for leaving my dad, I really should have been hating him. And it was all that time that I spent hating her when I should have just been happy to be with her because she's the only one that's ever stayed. You know what I mean? Because my mom said something to me that stuck with me forever. She's like, the people that you leave behind never really get over you. And she's like, for you, it's over. You die and you're over. It's it. You don't have to deal with anything anymore. But the people that you leave behind, especially the people you don't say goodbye to, they never forget it. They will think about it and feel bad the rest of their life. She was like, her friend died, not suicide, but her friend died, and to this day, she still cries because I'm named after her. Mm-hmm. So she's like, I still cry because she's gone, and it's been 30 years and I'm still not over it. Like, people don't just get over people that they lose.
Yeah.
So don't be selfish if you want to go, because the people here, they're going to suffer more than you've suffered your whole life, and you're just going to be putting them through more pain if you go.
Yeah.
So recently, with some political things that have been coming up with the gender roles and Roe versus Wade, more women are being kind of like forced into this mother role that some like physically can't, you know, because like sometimes like medically they can't have a baby, or more extreme things happen to them and they like don't want the kid or the fetus or however you want to like say it correctly. Or like not to like be like, I don't know, like
incorrect.
Like, or incorrect. And yeah, so it's just like, you know, we're put in this role that sometimes we just like don't want to be in. And another one would be just like with men, y'all can't be sorry, I'm talking about because you're the only man here, but like like you can't really be like too emotional. Like right now, you're not being emotional.
You're like
stone
cold.
No, but like
Stone cold.
How like they can't show emotions because if they do, they'll just seem like weak, like not a man, not a strong man, or like just like not manly enough, and it just obviously we're trying to like I don't know anyone, but like we're just trying to like get out of that box that we're being put in and sometimes forced to be in.
Again, for just the women. I mean, unless you want to like...
Go ahead.
No. Actually, yeah, let me include all of you. Okay, so like, was there ever a point in your lives where like your parents gave you this idea like you had to have kids?
Not that I had to, but like my sister was like, I'm not having kids and that's final.
Yeah.
So my parents would kind of be like, well, we want grandkids. Not specifically saying that I had to have them, but my mom only has me and my sister. So she was like, she doesn't want to have kids. We have to have a set of grandkids. And I'm like, okay, well that just leaves me then. You're basically just saying I need to have kids. So kind of, but at the same time, my mom was like, if you never have kids, I'm going to accept that. I just want you to know that I eventually do want to become grandma. And I'm like, well then, I guess the decision's made, huh?
What about you? I mean, like, I know because with guys, it's like, if you don't have kids, you're not carrying that line, right?
Yeah.
So, like, is
the
there,
last
like,
name.
Like, you have
But with
to...
me, I have my last name different than all my family.
See, that's the same thing with me.
Same.
I was gonna keep my last name because it's my dad and that's it. My brothers, they're older. They're younger, actually. So by the time they have kids, my dad won't be around. So, like, when I say younger, they're like 5 and 8. Like, they're young. And my dad is not the young stallion he used to be. So, I'm like, if I don't keep my last name, like, he might not have a grandchild with his last name. But at the same time, my partner, his last name is perfect. So, I kind of want to take his. Because at the same time, if he doesn't finish his line, then I feel bad. So one of us is just going to have to give it up. The only good thing is it starts with B, so my letters will still be HB, which is really exciting. Plus, it's really pretty to say. Placenta. Very
Just have
pretty.
to put that out there.
It means baby cow, just so you guys know.
I love that.
I don't know, because, like, with my family was never like, you have to have kids. Like, you all have to have kids. It was always just like, if you want them, go ahead,
Take
but if you
them.
don't, like, I don't
Yeah.
take them.
Take
It's like, don't have your own. But like for me, I don't know if it was like my family or maybe just myself, but I was like, I'm gonna sell my uterus because I'm not using it.
Dude, that was me too.
I think it just goes back to like my period because my PMS was so bad. Like, trigger warning, I was like suicidal tendencies the whole 9 yards with my PMS. So I was like, it's only hurting me, so why do I have this uterus? I was like, there are plenty of people out there that want to have kids, that like want to have kids, and they literally can't. And I'm like, take mine, I'm not using it.
Also, we're not going to talk about the $30,000 you could get for selling your uterus.
I know, like, we're not going to talk about that tuition money.
Or $30,000 plus the $10,000 for your eggs.
Like, literally. I applied to HB because I wanted to figure out if I could handle that kind of work. I was like, maybe I'm a manual labor kind of worker, because before that, I've always had desk jobs. And I was like, oh, maybe I can handle it. No, and it's not the customers. Everybody has like that Karen story, and they're like, oh, this customer threw a drink at me, or they threw a can at my head, or something like that. And I've never had that. The customers are like nice to me, but the managers, oh my god,
It's the managers.
they don't like me, and I'm just like, you know what, whatever.
It's the managers for me as our car hub, because I don't know if anybody knows this, we're considered waitresses, so we make $2 to $4 an hour. We don't make minimum wage because we are waitresses. So it's the amount of money I get for like a job that you would think would get minimum wage because of how much I have to do.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be happy. And inside a
To be happy.
no, bro,
I need to be happy. Crying in my car.
inside a Sonic there is no AC, so if the kitchen is on, it's about 80 degrees in there. If it's raining, I have to still go out and give people food. There's so many protocols in place. Like, if somebody's ordered in the driveway and they're not there, I have to go to every single stall, even if there's not a car there, and ask if it's somebody's food. I have to do that all while smiling on my feet for 8 to 10 hours at a time, because breaks are not like required at Sonic. So you can work 10 to 12 hours straight without getting a break. So I'm on my feet all day. I'm in the hot. I'm taking orders. I'm taking drinks. I'm making food sometimes. And I have to do that all with a smile. I was so happy when the mask mandate happened, because I did not have to smile anymore. I didn't have to pretend like I loved my job, like I lived to be at Sonic. I didn't have to pretend like I liked it there.
Yeah.
Which was a blessing. And only the reason I quit was the emotional labor. Like,
Yeah.
pretending to be happy when I'm running to 8,000 cars a day and I don't get tipped. When's the last time you tipped a car hop?
I don't go to Sonic.
Exactly. I don't get
just don't
tipped
go
very
there.
often, so I'm making $2 an hour. Like my other jobs, I'll be like, okay, this sucks, but at least I'm making $13 an hour.
Yeah.
No, $2 an hour. There was one point when my manager was like, guess what? We give you a raise, you're making $5 now. And I'm like, that's still what, $10?
That I
I
should
mean,
be
if I
proud
work
of.
10 hours, $5 an hour, I make $50 because tips are included, but they're not guaranteed.
Yeah. It was just so much. I'm like, I still work there, and I'm just like, I'm trying to find a different job. And I think it's just like the generation difference. Like, I know myself, like, I'm good at customer service, but it depends on who I'm talking to. Like, I can't handle the older generations, and that's just a personal thing.
Their ideas of what customer service should be. Like, customer is always right. Well, that's not the case, sir. If you ordered something the way you ordered it and you're going to tell me that I'm wrong, I'm sorry. There's not much I can do except for saying, okay, I'm so sorry. And apologizing for you ordering wrong, I think, is kind of ridiculous. Like, if you ordered a double cheeseburger with jalapenos, I'm going to give you a double cheeseburger with jalapenos. Now, if it has lettuce on it and you didn't tell us to take lettuce off, that's a you problem. That's, you ordered your own dang food the way you wanted, and you didn't tell us that you didn't want it like that. So I think the customer is always right is some BS, because they're not always right. And then you got the old people that are like, well, this is why nobody's working in customer service, because you're rude to people. Like, treat people with decent respect, and maybe more people would be in customer service jobs.
The outro, the freaking up, but it's the good. Oh, I deleted it anyway.
And that was it. That was the
then-
podcast. No,
God
this is
dang,
the, no. This is the outro.
Oh, yeah, take it. Do what
Hold
you
on.
gotta
Let's go.
do. I'm ready. Go. Do what you're gonna do. I trust you.
All right. And that's it. That's the podcast. You're welcome. Goodbye.